Okay, so to start your mask, you're going to fold a piece of paper in half. This is just drawing paper. You're going to fold it in half and create your line of symmetry. So anything you draw on this side will be repeated on the other side. So you're going to draw your shape of your mask and, look at some of the examples. You can draw different kinds of shapes. You can think about making some angular shapes, some curved shapes. So this is going to be my mask. If I were to flip this over, I would have kind of an oval shape. Now, this being your line of symmetry, anything you draw here on the line of symmetry will be in the middle of your mask, and anything that you draw on the edges will also be on the edge of your mask. Okay, so here is my example of my mask. I have, remember, some exaggerated features. I've got some patterns. I've got shapes on the line of symmetry, and I also have shapes on the outside edge. Now, we need to get this design on this side. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your paper, you're going to flip it over, and I want you to put it up against the window. And you will be able to see your drawing from this side. And you will trace all of your lines. Okay, I have traced my design, and when I open it up, you see that I have a complete mask. Okay, so this is what we are going to transfer to our copper foil. And this is what the foil looks like. Now I have various colors just depending on your class. Some is silver on one side and gold on one side, or copper. Some are colored. So you'll choose the side that you want to use. And we're going to use magazines or my cloth rags or some felt, because we need something underneath that's going to be soft. Now, you're going to take your mask and you're going to tape it onto your foil so that it doesn't move. Okay, once your mask is taped to your foil, you're going to get a colored pencil. And the reason we're using a colored pencil is we're going to trace around our mask, but we want to make sure we traced on all the necessary lines. And it's much easier to see that if you use a colored pencil. So the most important line to trace is going to be the shape of your mask. And as long as you're tracing over a soft surface, you can see, if you pull it up, you can see the line. So you're going to trace the shape of your mask, and I want you to trace just the big shapes. I don't want you to trace the small patterns because we're going to use some other tools to make those designs. Okay, all of my main shapes are traced. So I can take my paper off of the foil, and you might need to, you can just rip it off. There you go. Okay, now I'm going to save this because I need this for reference. Okay, now at this point, you are going to have some embossing tools. Okay, and these are tools. Some of them are like a stick. This one has a ball shape. This one is pointier. I also have wooden sticks you can use. And just a plain old pencil works really well. These are rolling tools, and they are, you can see they are textured. So what I'd like you to do is, in the area around your mask, I'd like you to experiment with the line that these make. So I will, let's see, I'm going to take you in so you can see. Okay, so this tool makes a line that's like a curve, okay? And this tool will texture, if you roll it, okay, it will give your mask a texture. You can see that up close, okay? And this one will just allow you to draw straight lines. And the ball will give you a nice thick line. And this will give you kind of a skinnier line, okay? You want to make sure you don't poke through your foil. So what I'd like you to do is use these tools. You might need to go over some of your lines because when we poked through the paper, it didn't really make a very strong line. So you can just kind of go over your lines. And at this point, I'd like you to use these tools to add texture. So if I go back here, I had a zigzag. So what I'm going to do here is use this tool. And I'm going to go across, and I'm going to stop right there. And I'm going to use this here. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. Now we're not going to cut our mask out, so if you go outside your line, that is fine. This foil can be very sharp, so cutting out your mask is going to be the last thing we do. Okay, so I have embellished the mask, and I have used all different tools and added a lot of texture. And I'd like to see you have texture in at least 3 or 4 places in your mask. Okay, now you are ready to cut out. And you've got to be very careful as you're cutting your foil. You want to cut very smoothly. You don't want to have any jagged areas as you're cutting. So I will pass out larger scissors to use when we cut. And be very careful because the edges of the foil will in fact be very sharp, and I don't want to see anybody get hurt.